Fallen Earth Classic is a free-to-play MMORPG developed by Reloaded Productions and operated by Little Orbit. Initially released in 2009 and then re-released on Steam in 2011. This game takes place in a post-apocalyptic wasteland located around the American Grand Canyon. Today we are going to be diving in from the new player perspective and tackling the wasteland to see if this game is worth. But before we risk the wasteland, I wanted to say thank you to all the recent subscribers and new viewers. Thank you guys for being here. Enjoy. Although I had made a character during my first impressions live stream, I wanted to start fresh for this video to highlight some of the options in character creation. And it's a pretty good character creator. It features gender choice, fine-tuning of your hair, that it was awesome to discover that you could change it, like the style of your hair in-game with just a click of a button and back. It has facial tattoos from normal to mutant eyes, an assortment of piercings, body tattoos, and war paint. There's pretty good variety of unique features to customize your Wastelander to make them your own. This game immediately grabbed my interest due to its OG Fallout feel and Altered Carbon-like overarching storyline. As an immortal mutant clone who has recently lost their longevity due to the Lifenet shutting down, we are in a race against time to reestablish our link to Lifenet before the dangers of the wasteland put us out of commission for good. Right off the bangle, I have no idea who the voice actors are in this game. I probably should check, but they're dialed to 11 in the tutorial. I could feel the emergency in their tone, and it was easy to become immersed into the narrative Fallen Earth was selling. They spoke, and I followed. Very good tutorial, which is rare nowadays in the MMO realm. Usually it's some corny, half-baked, use WAS to move and click your backpack kind of garbo. It's nice when a game can integrate the basics into a story-driven narrative.
We don't have much time, so I need you to listen to me. On the next computer, there's a region pod control terminal. Activate it. It launches an artificial intelligence program to keep the region pods running automatically. That will help us stay alive, especially you. I promise I'll explain later. Right now, you have to get moving or you're going to die. Activate the terminal.
Welcome to Lifenet, a product of Global Tech. If you're seeing this, you are dead. But don't worry, with Lifenet, death is just a minor setback. You may be feeling confused, disoriented, or even a little scared. It's understandable. You just had your vigorous, happy life interrupted by
explosion.
Please, accept our condolences. But no more dwelling on the past. Right now, Lifenet is reconstructing your body. Thanks to our patent, physical fitness will... The magic of rebirth happens inside Lifenet's patented regeneration pod. And finest refined, and your perfectly cloned body comes out. You've also been fitted with a wireless neural scanner, providing dynamic syncing between your brain and the Lifenet database. Your memories will be... But wait, there's more!
Combat. Okay, so you're armed with umpteen weapon slots that all appear visually on your character, which is badass. And you can toggle between all of them by using Control key plus an associated 1 through 6 keys. It's a little tricky to get the hang of, but at least I didn't have to open my inventory to weapon swap. You can also mix up your loadout of what your character is holding at any given time. So you could go with like lead pipe right hand, pistol left hand. Very neat. Now the hitboxes on ranged attacks seemed pretty good. Melee, on the other hand, was anyone's game, until I realized that my attack circle needed to actually be on the enemy to connect. You attack with your right and left mouse button, which are tied to your left and right hand attacks, or light and heavy for two-handed melee weapons, I think. Or you can aim with the right mouse button and fire with the left mouse button for any two-handed firearms. These are great options for versatility and conflict, and a nice change of pace to the usual auto attack or sequence combos from other MMOs. I was also able to zoom into first person, which turned ranged combat into kind of a quasi first person shooter. and with a rifle, a stealthy sniper. Finally, you're armed with mutation abilities that add buffs to your Wastelander that are assigned to your hotbar for easy use. Although the combat really isn't anything new, and the animations are super dated, killing things in Fallen Earth was still pretty fun. The aesthetic of Fallen Earth is a visual novel. The game does a very good job of visual storytelling. From locals who are destitute and on their last leg, to corpses and trash littering the streets, you know immediately the state of things as you stroll around the wasteland. Everything has this on the brink of collapse feel to it and is enjoyable to explore. I was very surprised to discover some platforming in Fallen Earth, to locate and talk to a quest giver. Now, the platforming was fun, but the jump in this game is a tire fire. It's floaty and just plain crap. Although I did manage to finally get to the NPC with relative ease, I found myself getting snagged on all the litter and garbo within the post-apocalyptic town. I mean, seriously, some steps were harder to climb than beating enemies. Okay, let's talk about leveling and progression because it's another tricky aspect. It took me quite a bit to grasp it at first. As you fight, you quest, you craft, your character gains AP or ability points that can be spent on a variety of upgrades. To start with, your character has primary stats that combine the root characteristics of your character. Primary stats cost 5 AP per point in the 8 different stats. These are your strength, your dexterity, endurance, coordination, intelligence, perception, willpower, and charisma. These primary stats affect the maximum value of your character's skills and have a max value of your current level plus 10 times 1.5, or at least I believe that's the formula. It's a little confusing at first, but easy enough to understand that if you want to be good at bonking enemies, strength is probably a good investment. There's also a description as to what each primary stat affects simply by selecting the stat. Alright, moving on to skills. Skills are your character's learned abilities and begin at a value of 1 and can only be raised by spending AP at a value of 1 for 1. The maximum value of your skill is based on 2 corresponding primary stats linked to that skill. For example, the melee skill increases the damage you inflict with melee weapons as well as your crit chance while wielding a melee weapon. The maximum value of the melee skill is based 50% off of your character's strength stat and 50% off of your total coordination. Again, this is a little daunting at first, but the game does do a good job of telling you what each skill represents. On top of that, there are also mutations that can be learned, aside from the alpha mutations that all clones begin with, as well as trade skills that raise as you use them, but are tied to the max value of 75% of your current intelligence stat and 25% of your current perception stat, provided you have the crafting ability and the resources to do so. Now, with the build planner out of the way, let's talk about how the leveling and the grind of Fallen Earth felt like. To be honest, I barely noticed when I was about to level up, because my character was constantly gaining AP to spend on stats and skills that when I did level, I was always delightfully surprised. Now, to be fair, I started in Midway, which is a crafting hub, and most of the quests and area are loaded with resources and crafting rewards for most of the quest lines. But I enjoy crafting in most MMOs, so this didn't really bother me. I like to play a resource mule and see how deep the crafting rabbit hole goes. It's pretty deep as far as I can tell, and pretty enjoyable. So the few combat quests that I did receive were a welcome break from the how it's made simulator. Compared to more action-based MMOs such as Elder Scrolls Online or Conan Unchained, the leveling is a bit slower, but I never felt underpowered for any tasks that I accepted. There are also 2 other starting zones, one of which is labeled combat, so if crafting really isn't your thing and you just want to shoot things in the face, you have that choice. Okay, so I landed in this small shanty town where 2 rival families are vying for power and trying to edge the other out of the loop. A group known as the Blade Dancers is crawling all over the place, and we set out to learn the ropes of Fallen Earth's crafting system. And I gotta say, the fact that the beginning recipes are easy to make and can be queued so that you can continue to quest was an amazing quality of life idea. So while I wait for my character to craft bullets, which is placed in a crafting queue of 2+ minutes, I'm not trapped at some crafting table playing touch butt with the local NPCs. Instead, the items are being forged. I'm free to follow quest lines, gather more resources, or shank the local hood rats. Fallen Earth has a cash shop. Actually, when I clicked on the cash shop, it doesn't have a cash shop. There isn't one. None. No pay to win. No greedy bullshit every time there's a loading screen. Good for you, Fallen Earth. Good for you. Let's talk about the jank. And boy, is there jank. The jump that we already covered. The quest design, sometimes good with a well-written story short. Sometimes it's janktastic with walk 15 feet and tell John that shit has gone sideways. The animations are dated, from combat looking floaty without any real weight or chunk to the dance of death, to the horse mount action and riding animations, which are bad. The gathering animation is the same for everything: take a knee and disassemble a bus, or skin a fat mutant chicken. But hidden under all this jank is some real depth and charm. What the fuck do you mean find? He's literally right by the camp. Like, oh my gosh, Richard. Oh my gosh, Richard. Where could he possibly be? Where could the blade dancer be, Richard? You get them eyes checked, nerd.
Thanks. That'll keep all my kids fed.
Well, that's not good. Fallen Earth Classic is like finding $20 in the couch. Yeah, you had to stick your hand in an unknown space of questionable hygiene, but hey, you're $20 richer, and that's Fallen Earth in a nutshell. Sure, jank is ever looming, but there is depth and some really good game designs here. Although I did enjoy my day or so with Fallen Earth, I believe that it will remain a niche genre and not for everyone. But if you like crafting survival classic MMORPGs with deep character progression and build variety, then Fallen Earth may be for you. Well, that's going to be it for me for Fallen Earth Classic. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye.